Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Tea. I'm your host, the amazing Tea Street. I'm going to jump right into today's topic, and it's fresh on my mind. Today's topic: don't skip the process of extending grace to others. Don't skip the process of extending grace to others. Now, as most people know, I work with young people. And so I'm always at a place where young people are in need of some grace. They're always in need of, Miss T, can I get a second chance? Miss T, can I turn something into you late? Like, I need a letter. Can I get it to you later today? They're always in need of some grace. And so it's fresh on my mind because I was at a school yesterday and um, some of the young men are struggling. And at one point, I was sitting and I was talking to a teacher, and the three boys came rushing in. And they came rushing in, and clearly somebody was coming for them. And they ran up to the teacher and they said, "Please, please, 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 I'll do anything you want me to do. I'll do my work. Tomorrow, I'll do anything you ask me to do. But my principal is coming to ask you a question. I told him that you gave me permission to do something. I need you to just say I did and that you did give me permission." And she said, "I can't do that because I can't lie for you." So sure enough, the principal came in and he said that the young men were in the hall and they said that they had permission to go deliver a charger and that they had received that permission from the teacher. Good morning, Lady Overflow. That they had received that permission from the teacher. And so he looked at the teacher and he said, "Is that true?" And she said, "I can't lie." And at that moment, he looked at them and she said, "I did not." And so at that moment, he was about to hand them in school suspension papers. And I stopped and I said, "Excuse me, sir, can I say something?" And he and I go way back. And he said, "Well, of course, Miss T, what's up?" I said, "While the teacher did not give them permission, during my session, the period before, they're not usually engaged. And today they were heavily, good morning, Alana, they were heavily engaged, which was a shift for them. So I'm asking, though they don't deserve it for this, I'm asking you for the fact that they were engaged when they normally are not, to extend grace to them." And he said, "You know what? I'm a man of my word." And he ripped up the papers and he said, "Though you lied, Miss T just gave you grace." What is grace? It's unmerited favor, the thing we can't earn. We didn't earn it, we just get it. And so I'm a recipient. I tell kids all the time, they're like, "Miss T, you just, no matter what we do, you clean the slate." And I said, "That's because I am the recipient of great grace. Who am I not to be an extender of great grace?" Good morning, Miss Teresa. Who am I not to be an extender of great grace? Grace starts with understanding. Before we can extend grace, we have to understand that everybody, y'all, is fighting a battle that we can't see. Sometimes, like those young people, they're not acting necessarily out of a place to be vindictive and just to be liars. Sometimes our folks have on the surface some things that we don't see. Maybe they're acting out of pain or fear or insecurity. The thing about grace, God's grace, and as Christians, supposed to be our grace, grace looks beyond the surface to ask, what might they be carrying? Jesus modeled it perfectly, y'all. When he was on the cross, he said, "Forgive them because they know not what they do." Sometimes we feel disrespected and we really want to like be vengeful or revengeful. And so we put up anger as our defense mechanism. But grace invites us to pause before we judge other people. So that's the first point. Grace starts with understanding. Grace requires letting go of our right to be right. I love that. Of our right to be right. Sometimes we're in the right. We got a right to be mad. I told my son, I have a right to be angry at you. But just because I have a right to doesn't mean I have to. Extending grace, it sometimes means surrendering our need to prove a point or to get revenge. Do you know how powerful it is when we could judge people and we don't? When we could exact revenge and we don't. It's so much more powerful than when we take our base nature and operate out of that. It's not a weakness. Your grace is a sign of great wisdom. Finally, grace reflects God's heart through us. Good morning. Good morning, nephew, Jerome Midget. Grace reflects God's heart through us. What does that mean? When we say that we are Christians, we extend grace like this, we literally become the mirror of the character of God. We love not because people deserve it. I love kids because I serve a God who loved me first. When I was unlovable, God loved me. So I try to extend that same kind of love and grace to young people. We forgive because He forgave us. Grace is the language of heaven that we as human beings get to speak through our lips. When you say to someone, I know that you did me wrong, but I love you anyway. Can I tell you the power in loving people, even through our own pain? Sometimes grace requires more of us. Sometimes we are in pain, and our natural instinct is to exact revenge, to exact judgment. And when we stop and we give people grace that they didn't earn, just like God gives us grace that we didn't earn, grace has a healing effect. I spent a majority of my teenage years as a juvenile delinquent. And I remember when I was trying to get my life together. And I came back to my family after almost having destroyed it. And my family offered me great grace. I hadn't earned it. My mom said love is not about what we earn. It's about what we get as a result of grace. And she said she was a recipient of God's grace, so she was going to extend it to me. Do you know the healing that came for me when I knew I didn't deserve my family's forgiveness, my family's grace, because I did everything to destroy it? And it was that love that not just drew me back to my family, but ultimately drew me to Christ. Grace is a powerful mechanism. You want to know how to win, young people? Without your judgment, with your love, and with your kindness. For the word of God says, with loving kindness have I drawn you. I dog double dare you today to go and extend grace to other people. I'm the amazing T Street, but you know what? There's absolutely positively nothing amazing in me. There's not in each and every one of you. So today, I encourage you, if you don't do anything else, go extend grace to someone, because if you are still alive today, you are the recipient of great grace. Who are you not to be an extender of said grace? Have an amazing day.